Computing today has revolutionized the way we live, gain information, solve problems, and even connect with other people in education. With the use of handheld devices, we have access to amazing possibilities at the tip of our fingers. We're able to view, create, and share entertainment and creativity like never before. And with microchips becoming increasingly smaller and even more affordable, we are able to spread the use of computers throughout the world. However, there are some limitations to today's computing. Even with the rapidly increasing capability of these machines, we are still limited to the things and quality of things that we can do. Things like advanced graphics processing, massive data calculation, and so on. And even with increasingly affordability, many people cannot afford even the low-range computers, let alone a machine with the capabilities stated before. So is there a solution to this problem? There is actually. It's called cloud computing, a 60-year-old concept that is changing computing as we know it. Cloud computing is not well described by its name. Basically, cloud computing is the use of remote off-site computer or data centers to handle the technical needs of business and even everyday consumers. In fact, almost everybody uses cloud computing already in one form or another. Your email, such as Hotmail, Gmail, or maybe your online file storage, such as Dropbox, Google Docs, so on, is a form of cloud computing. So in a fundamental way of explaining, the cloud is the use of off-site computer power or storage space which you can access from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. Today, cloud computing is mostly used widely by companies like Microsoft, Google, for services like Google Docs and email. Cloud computing has vast amounts of uses. It can be used for off-site file storage, data organization, email, web hosting, backend systems, and so on. It has future possible uses for real-time manufacturing, gaming, raw computer power, education, etc. Cloud computing has the capability to solve many problems if used and constructed the right way. It can actually even save energy by the use of massive data centers rather than individual computers throughout the country. As of now, data centers holding large amounts of servers use 0.01% of the total global power consumption. The data centers have the resource and capability to dramatically reduce the power consumption of their systems. Affordability of computing today is a big problem because millions of people worldwide cannot afford computers. However, with cloud computing, the term personal computer will turn into a piece of hardware worth $600 to $1,000 into a monthly service costing $20 to $40 a month, with 10 times more power than any PC. This can be seen a lot like a utility bill such as electricity or water. Cloud computing is such a flexible digital medium that it can be adapted to be used for thousands of specific applications, or can be unified into a universal setup. However you look at it, cloud computing can solve many problems. However, on the other side of things, cloud computing requires a lot of trust and hope that all of your data stored in the cloud, such as personal info, pictures, documents, anything above, is being stored and secured correctly. It's like putting your trust in a bank to hope that they keep your money safe. But what happens if someone breaks in? Cloud computing is ran on off-site computers or servers, therefore they are like any computer, hackable, and or are prone to failures like loss of power and other malfunctions. There are some common universal threats to cloud computing. The most common of them all would be a hack by someone or a group of people trying to cause mayhem or to earn a quick dollar. And with cloud computing, there is a very possible potential if one system gets hit, it spreads to all the systems, then we're in the world of trouble. Privacy is also another big concern when it comes to cloud computing. Having all that computer power is nice, but it's off-site, therefore you don't have control over it, so you never know who is spying in on you. However, you could make the argument of ever since the advent of the internet, privacy on a computer is a concern anyways. And with all the concerns of privacy and security over the cloud, who is it that will govern or control security? Will it be a universal system, such as within the government, or will it be up to individual cloud service providers to keep on top of security? At this point, it's early to tell. One of the most problematic problems of all is the internet, because cloud computing requires the internet in order to pipe back rich computer power or content being generated off-site back to your home computer. And without the internet, you're stuck with that yesterday's boggy computer of yours, and a lot of places in the world don't even have internet infrastructures in place. So a whole infrastructure would have to be implemented in order to reap the benefits of cloud computing. And for those places that already have a vast internet infrastructure, most of the time internet speeds are slow and unreliable, making it difficult to pipe gigabytes of data every hour, thus making it almost impossible for cloud computing to become a reality. The solution would be to develop a higher speed internet for a lower cost, which every consumer could afford. Economically and environmentally speaking, cloud computing has many benefits for not only other things, but the cost of running itself. If you think about it, as home computers get more and more powerful, they tend to use more and more power. However, while it's not that much of an increase in power, over the years it begins to add up, even with the advancements in power-saving technologies and computers. Now compare this with big server or data centers with huge fans and cooling systems surrounding thousands upon thousands of racks of servers. That's a lot of power usage. But actually, if you think about it, one of these little computers serve an average of 3 to 4 times as powerful as your average home computer. And that's not only one little computer sitting upon 50 others making up one single row, making up thousands of rows of computers, all way more powerful than the computer you're using now. And on top of that, the power usage and climate control systems are all designed and carefully monitored by top-notch engineers. Not one server is pushed to its breaking point, nor is it underused, and the servers which are not being used are shut off and turned on when they are needed automatically, thus making it incredibly cheaper and environmentally safer than one would envision as they think of a big room of computers sucking up raw electricity. This is great and all, but what happens when most of the world turns to cloud computing? Then what? Actually, we kind of already are turned to cloud computing, not exactly in the sense of the future possibilities, but there are websites like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on that store terabytes upon terabytes of our data every day, and not only that, they stream or pipe that content back to us for viewing and altering. As of January 2012, more than 1 hour of video is uploaded per second on YouTube. 1 hour per second. And that number continues to grow, and at the same time, an average of 4 billion people are on YouTube streaming videos at any given time. Thus going to show just how real the capabilities are, and just how environmentally sound they can be. A pretty interesting statistic by Google states that to provide non-stop YouTube videos to all of its users for 3 weeks takes less energy than a load of laundry. It's important to note that the everyday life impact and overall user impact, whether everyday consumer or a business, that cloud computing will have an impact on. As mentioned before, in one form or another, we all use cloud computing, most notably in social media. However, the opportunities of cloud computing we are using today are just scratching the surface of what's possible. Right now, the estimated number of just personal computers throughout the world is around 1.1 billion, 220,000 of which are just residing in the US. Now that may seem like a lot, which it is, it's just a fraction of the people on this earth. There are several factors that express why there is less computer usage throughout the world. 1. Cost and availability of computers. Even an 8-year-old machine in some areas is unthinkable. 2. Perception as unneeded or unnecessary. 3. Education of computers and their possibilities. 4. Internet service and electricity. Now, as you might notice, I'm touching on somewhat third world areas where ultimately cloud computing could rely on software and offsite computers to do the dirty work or hard lifting. Think of how many grandpas and grandmas who don't even touch a computer because of how intimidating they might seem and how complicated they are. Now think of having a simple machine or box even that simply displays or streams the computer's information with simple natural controls that communicate back in the cloud as to what actions to make, leaving your grandparents free of the hassle of trying to figure out which button does what, and making it easier to access information and be on the line with the rest of us. Concluding, There are many future insights and predictions as to what cloud computing might entail and evolve into. However, there are some pretty solid ideas that seem to be the norm or projected roots of cloud computing. Things like openness and easeability, along with simplicity and affordability. If cloud computing can't be done on a larger scale both affordably and simply, then a common consensus is not to do it at all. Along with simplicity goes the ease of programming and developing for the cloud. Right now, as the cloud is young, there really isn't any simple universal means for developing for the cloud. It's pretty easy for the users, but not for the developers. So a proposal is to make the cloud incredibly safe and easy to develop for, as if it were opening a hot dog stand or selling lemonade on the sidewalk. Another prediction is the use of PCs rather than PCs, meaning personal clouds rather than personal computers. This seems to be the common outlook for the use of cloud computing in the future. But however you look at it, cloud computing is already here and it's already embedded itself into our world. It's the future of computing and will shape a whole new generation to come. Your head can literally be in the cloud so that you can store all your beloved information and access it at the same time.